Greetings and welcome back, gentles and ladiesmen, to another fantastic episode of Exo Plays Spyro, the best game in the series. I'm Exo, as you might expect, and we are going to kick things off with Sunny Via.
Oh my, can you help us? Hordes of ferocious Rhinox have overrun our town and kidnapped the mayor!
Hey look, the sorceress actually has some kind of impact on what's happening in this level. Fancy that! It's almost like she's a better villain than Ripto or something. Alright, I promise to stop rubbing that point in. I already pretty much said everything I needed to say about that in part 1, but still, I'm just saying, this is what Ripto should have been. But I digress. So as you can see, the plot, and I might as well give Ripto's Rage credit for this much. The plots in all of these levels are all kind of the same.
Let me catch my breath and I'll kick that other guy's butt.
What I was trying to say there was, in Spyro 2, even though A plot and B plot weren't connected very well, and that was a big problem for me, this game, while A plot and B plot are almost always connected, except for a couple levels that I will, call attention to when the time comes.
Each time a fairy zaps you like this, that means your progress is saved. If you get into trouble, you'll return to the last place you got zapped.
So the save system is the exact same as Spyro 2, so I don't feel the need to talk about that much at all. There are a bunch of the same annoying tutorials that nobody likes in this game, as there were in Spyro 2. And may I say, it is very nice to have dragons you rescue that don't talk, so I can keep talking. That'll be very nice, because, I don't know, usually when I replay Spyro 3, I just, like, press the start button to skip the dragon animations, but since I'm doing a playthrough, I'm gonna show them off, but at least here, I can still keep talking. But what I was saying was, with Spyro 2, even though A plot and B plot weren't connected and Ripto had nothing to do at all with what was happening in the levels, one thing they did do very well was make all the level plots feel unique from each other. And that's something that's definitely improvement, or superior to this game in that sense, because with Spyro 3, the plots of all the levels are all the same. It's pretty much almost always, like, there's some variety. They try to mix it up a little bit, but pretty much it always amounts to Rhinox showed up and caused trouble. And with some kind of gimmick on top of that. It's not like with Spyro 2 where it was like, oh, the fountain's dried up and now we can't ward off the local wildlife, or the farm animals, Space Cows, have invaded the city, go stop them. You know, there was more variety in Spyro 2 in that sense. But, you know,
Thanks for the help, but I think I would have worn him down in a minute.
So, while that is true, and while I will give Spyro 2 the credit it deserves for that much, personally, I much prefer this game's approach, how it consistently connects A plot and B plot over the variety of the second game.
Thank you for rescuing my town. As mayor, I award you with one of our famous giant chicken eggs.
The inhabitants of the Forgotten Realms are easily just as varied as the ones from Spyro 2. Easily. So I'd say that the world building, well, maybe the world building's not quite as good.
Sorry, that was the ugliest chicken I've ever seen.
Like, in terms of world building, comparing Avalar to the Forgotten Realms, there's nothing as advanced or as interesting as the Breeze Builder, Land Blubber, you know, conflict from Spyro 2. But it does get pretty damn close, like, in terms of the variety of the stages you will visit, and what the inhabitants look like, and how they speak, and how they act. You know, it feels much better than Spyro 1, and more or less on par with Spyro 2, but I'd say maybe Spyro 2's was slightly better.
This Rhinox is too big to charge. You'll have to flame him using the circle button.
Yeah, so she just gave us more tips we don't care about. And good thing she saved, otherwise that annoying, pointless death, I don't know, whatever. We get to start close to where we died is the point. And one other thing I want to point out while we're still early in the playthrough, Look at how gorgeous this game is, man. This is easily the best looking game in the trilogy. Like, no contest. And because I died, looks like I get to flame the trees again. Yeah, skill points are back in Spyro 2. They are minorly improved over their appearance in Spyro 2. There are more of them than there were in Spyro 2. But after you beat the final, and once again, you cannot see which ones you have or which ones you don't until you beat the final boss. But they did improve it slightly by at least giving you a hint as to which level you will find the skill point in. So I will take that over nothing. Like, they improved it slightly in that sense. And yeah, there is a skill point, a couple skill points actually in this level. Look, it's a giant chicken.
Look, a chicken turned up. I hope it's not the only one left.
Not sure what the deal is with that chicken. It was kind of a Spyro 2-esque weird scene, but yeah, look at this game. This is easily the best looking PlayStation game I've ever seen. Like, I don't know, the Crash games look nice, of course. Spyro 1 and 2 look nice, but this game looks a league above Spyro 2 in my opinion. Like, look at the colors, look at the environment, look at the texture work in this game. This is a gorgeous PlayStation game. Easily my vote for best looking game in the system that isn't, you know, like sprite based like Symphony of the Night. Like, in terms of the 3D games, this is definitely way up there. But yeah, and it is definitely better looking than the first two games for sure. So that's just another reason why I like this game the most, is all I'm saying. So I believe we should, and by the way, that moment right there was very much a Spyro 1 sort of moment. Like, as I've been talking about my Spyro 1 and Spyro 2 playthroughs, it felt like Spyro 1 had a lot of those moments where you had to think outside the box and use your mechanics creatively. Spyro 3 has a lot of that in this game, certainly more so than in Spyro 2. So like I said, it's like Spyro 1 and Spyro 2 had a kid that was better at being Spyro than either of their parents were. If you catch my drift. This game's great, I highly recommend it. But I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself because we've still got plenty of game left to go. There's the last tree, and that there is our skill point. So go ahead and hit on into this portal. So minigames are back for Spyro 2.
Hi, Spyro. I found this gladiator training arena, and it makes a pretty cool skate park. Care for a test of your boarding skills? I bet you can't catch all 15 of the lizards running around here. Just come back if you want some boarding tips from the master.
Right. So we'll go ahead and check out the help, and there are all the controls you could possibly want. Now, I'm not sure if I want to talk about this yet, but I will at least talk about this much. Minigames are back for Spyro 2, or I'm sorry, Spyro 3, that is what we are playing after all. See, like, when I was playing Spyro 2, I kept saying 3, now I'm playing 3 and I keep saying 2, because I'm so used to saying 2 now. I digress. Minigames are back. In Spyro 2, they added minigames that you would play, or side quests, what have you, where you would play some kind of different gameplay that still kind of used the same mechanics. Spyro 2, or Spyro 3 has a lot of that as well, but it has a lot more variety in terms of control schemes and who you'll even be playing as, or there are plenty of vehicles to play around in. This game, in terms of variety, easily tops Spyro 3, or I'm sorry, Spyro 3 easily tops Spyro 2 when it comes to variety, is what I am trying to say. But yeah, we're gonna go after the gems first while we're getting the lizards. So this is, and one thing I really absolutely love about Spyro 3, compared to the second game especially, is all of the mini games have their own section of the stage, which is a huge improvement in my opinion. It means that, so in terms of level structure, Spyro 3 will usually have levels shaped like a big donut, essentially. The levels loop around, essentially. So when you beat the level, you unlock a shortcut that goes back to the beginning, essentially. And so that means that if you ever do need to backtrack, you can go it's kind of like Aquaria Towers. Aquaria Towers had a structure like that, where once you beat the stage, you could go back the way you came. So if you miss a gem or something, it makes it really easy to go back and find it. But most importantly, it pretty much eliminates all within level backtracking altogether. Which to me, so it means that you don't have shit like Bommo the Flag Keeper. You have to keep wandering around the level back and forth a billion times. And it eliminates stuff like Zephyr, where you have to wander around looking for cowlicks and stuff. All that kind of stuff is gone thanks to this system, and it means that backtracking within levels is not really a problem at all because of the way that they... And I'm not really on my skateboard game today, am I? I promise I will be able to beat the second minigame in the stage just fine, but for the time being, I'm gonna have to kind of get back in the swing of things. By the way, these lizards are from Glimmer. They are back out of, I don't know, I guess a similar species of lizard lives in the Forgotten Realms. Like if you remember in Glimmer, there was a minigame where you had to spit rocks at the lizards to take them out from a distance so that you could help one of the gem cutters. Here they're being used as target practice to help you get used to the skateboard controls. And yeah, I honestly, I gotta tell you folks, when I first played Spyro 3, and I saw that there was a boarding minigame, it's like, oh no, I don't want to play this. But I gotta say, the controls are so easy to learn. And honestly, it's a blast to play, and I never expected that.
Hey, that was great! And while you were boarding, I found this in a lizard burrow.
There we go. Got a second egg. Or first egg, rather.
All right, if you can catch all the lizards without wiping out, and before time runs out, I might be able to scrounge up another egg. It's not gonna be easy, though. Go get 'em, Spyro!
So one thing I do have to say about Hunter in this game is he seems to love... And this kind of goes for Hunter in every appearance of his past Spyro 2. He seems to love hiding collectibles from you. Like the survival of Spyro's species is at stake. And he apparently has another egg, but he won't give it to us unless we play his little game. So Hunter's kind of an asshole because of that, but you know, regardless. I'm more than happy to play second round of this because I really do enjoy playing in the skateboard. We're only getting started with the skateboard, folks. Oop, I wiped out.
Aw, too bad. Maybe you'll do better this time.
I mean, this really isn't that hard. It's one of those things where if I hadn't gone for so many loops, when I went off that half-pipe ramp like I am right now, then I wouldn't have wiped out. So it's just, play it safe. Definitely go for the lizards that are running around this hallway first, because that's where I find it's easiest to wipe out. I do recommend getting all the gems before attempting the second round. Like, these are literally the exact same character models as the lizards from Glimmer. And unfortunately, that's not the last time we're going to be seeing some asset reuse from Spyro 2. We may be seeing space cows and space sheep again in this game, maybe. And they may be doing a similar shtick to what they were doing in Metropolis. Think literally the exact same character models. I'm pretty sure we're going to be seeing a lot more stuff, asset reuse from Spyro 2. So that is one criticism I do have of this game. That it does seem like they didn't have time to model something new, so they just recycled something they already had. But you know, if that's like the worst criticism I can come up with so far, then I'd say we're doing pretty well. It's not like there are plenty of good games that reuse assets. Like, I don't know, Majora's Mask is a really good example. That's a great game, and it's better than the game that it reused assets from. So. Yeah, gotta give it to that there. So if you want to get back up to the second level, you gotta go around over here. Like, the platforming on this feels really tight and responsive. I've never had any issues controlling the skateboard, either with the D-pad or the analog stick. It's just a lot of fun to play, honestly. And I did not expect that. I did not grow up playing Tony Hawk or anything like that, any of the Tony Hawk games. So I came into this never having played any skateboard games before. I came in, I played it, and I found it really easy and intuitive to get into, and actually a lot of fun. So I'd much rather play this than like George the Snow Leopard or the monkey minigame.
That was sweet! And look, there was another egg in the lizard burrow.
I don't know, I think what they're implying is going on is that Hunter's trying to goad you into learning how to skateboard. By the way, let's talk to him again.
You can go for the course record now if you want. Whenever you hop on a skateboard, a timer will start. Score as many points as you can until the timer expires or you wipe out. Good luck!
Alright, so this is the second skill point in the stage. So as you can see, we can do tricks. We have not been taught how to do this yet, unfortunately. Like the second, there may be more skateboard sections in Spyro 2, and in the second one we will be learning how to do tricks. So don't worry if you didn't know that was something that you could do yet. That's just how the game is laid out. But as you can see, there are plenty of different kinds of tricks Spyro can do. And we'll be learning more about these when we get to the stage where we'll actually be learning about them. But go off here. Ooh, I fucked that up. What I'm trying to do is, the score cap for this is actually surprisingly high. And the best way to clear it, I find, is to do a trick called the Nasty Nork, which I can't seem to do properly for the life of me. And unfortunately, as far as I know, there aren't really a lot of good tutorials in this game for some of the more advanced, like within the game anyway, that teach you how to do some of the more advanced tricks. Like, if you do this Nasty Nork trick I'm trying to pull off, then it pretty much, you're guaranteed to get enough points to clear the cap, but... There we go. Oh, I actually managed to do a Raging Ripto in this level. Wow, that's actually kind of impressive. But we'll keep going until the timer runs out. Like, you can do spins off of half pipes, you can do rolls, you can do flips. There are all sorts of little tricks you can do to rack up your score, essentially. Like, this is another one we can do. And obviously, if you don't land on your board, then you wipe out and don't get any points for that. But yeah, I think the score cap, I'll put it up in text right now. The score cap is like 3,500 points, I think. So if you could pull off a Nasty Nork or a Raging Ripto, you will clear that course record. It's 3,200, so I guess I don't need to put up text after all, but yeah. So we got our skill point from that, so now we are done with this. So we'll go ahead and move on to the other minigame in the stage. So because of the way how this level is structured, it means that in terms of the main core Spyro gameplay, you have these really tight focused levels like in Spyro 1, but because the minigames have their own sections, it means that you can enjoy the variety of Spyro 2 without all of the backtracking within levels to get back to, you know, a lot of that's been removed and it means that when you play a minigame, you get to see an entirely new part of the stage, which is always fun. And yeah, we're not actually done with this level yet because we have a Sheila section to play. Sheila has multiple sections where you will be playing as her, so yeah, we'll move on here to the second one.
Hey Spyro, there are Rhinox everywhere! Maybe I can find some peace and quiet at the top of the tower.
Yeah, so Sheila,
Alas, I have lost my love, guarded by evil Rhinox at the top of yonder tower. Can you rescue her for me?
So this is actually not too dissimilar plot-wise from one of the mini-games in Zephyr. You might remember that there was a landlubber named Romeo and a breeze builder named Juliet. And this is pretty much the same idea as that Marco's love has been kidnapped, or supposedly. So we have to go find her at the end of this platforming section. In terms of Sheila, because we will actually be playing as her multiple times throughout this game, I don't really mind Sheila at all. I think she's a lot of fun to play as. Her gameplay really is not that far removed from Spyro's core gameplay. Really not at all, in any sense. Like, you're still platforming around, defeating enemies and collecting gems. And that's pretty much what you do as Spyro. It's just the type of platforming and the type of fighting enemies has changed slightly. So it's not that far removed from Spyro, so I don't really mind playing as her at all. Some of the other characters get a little farther removed, but on the whole, in terms of the main four that we will be playing as, like there are a couple other characters we'll be playing as well that don't really fall into this, but in terms of the main four, I feel like none of them get so far removed from Spyro's core gameplay to feel like they overstretch in any sense of the word. So, well, of course, we'll talk more about the other characters as we get to them. But Sheila has a lot of fun platforming. Like, I really like her tall jump that she can do here. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun kicking enemies in the face and stomping on them. And I think Sheila as a character is a lot of fun as well. Like, all of the playable characters in this game have very distinct personalities that I really enjoy. They're easily as memorable as anyone from Ripto's Rage, like Allura or Moneybags. Speaking of which, Moneybags is back in this game. And he has actually had a voice actor change. I was talking about this a bit in part 1. In Spyro 2, he was voiced by Milton James. In Spyro 3, he is voiced by Neil Ross. And I do have to say, like I said earlier, that I said I could kind of take or leave Zoe's voice actor from either Spyro 2 or 3. And in my case, I've got to cast my vote decisively for Neil Ross from Spyro 3 for Moneybags. Moneybags is the role that Neil Ross was born to play, if that makes any sense. Like, it just feels like the perfect voice for this character. Like, and he gives such a great performance too. Like, I think Neil Ross's performance as Moneybags is probably some of the best acting in the game, honestly. Like, he's such an asshole, and he really sells it.
What? Marco sent you here? I've got a restraining order against him.
Now that, my friends, is a good twist. Like, there are a couple of side quests in Spyro 2, or like the gear grinder machine in Hurricos, for example, where it's like, you have to climb up this platforming section to turn off this machine because it's stealing electricity. By the way, I got all of the gems without needing to use the gem finder. As long as you're thorough, you should not need it. And I saw through the bottom of the level because I jumped off the ledge. But we can actually, and look at that! A convenient, easy way to leave the side areas when you're done. And then we should be done with this level altogether, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, we're done. Alright, and yeah, our little timer did go off not too long ago, so we're gonna wrap up for the session. Join me in part 3, and we'll move on to a new stage. Until then, I'm Exo, and I'll see you guys next time.